That is absolutely perfect. Welcome to the Salted Pepper, where we cook for real life using real food and we keep it real simple. Today we're gonna make a delicious recipe, chicken cordon bleu in the air fryer. I'm gonna use the Ninja Foodi 6.5 quart air fryer, but you could use any air fryer that you have and just adjust your temperatures and maybe your timing based on how your air fryer cooks. So let's get right into it. It's gonna take about 10 minutes or so to do the prep, and while I'm doing that, I like to preheat the Ninja Foodi, and I like to preheat on the hottest setting, which is the broil setting or the grill setting if you have a European model. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. And I have the basket in, so whatever surface you're gonna cook on, I definitely suggest that you have that in so it gets hot as well. That will reduce the amount of sticking when we put the breaded chicken in. So we'll go ahead and close that, let that go for 10 minutes. Meanwhile, I have two 12-ounce chicken breasts here, and what I'm gonna do is cut them in half and use each half, each chicken breast will become 2 of the chicken cordon bleu, okay? So let me start with that. Then we need to pound them thin and get them stuffed. So it's fairly easy to cut the chicken breast in half. However, you're not going to be completely even when you do it. And sometimes there might be a little bit of a split here on the one side. Don't worry about that. We'll take care of that when we pound it out and then wrap the chicken in with the ham and cheese. And then we'll secure everything with toothpicks. So it'll be fine. All right, now let me get my meat tenderizer and my parchment paper, and we're gonna pound these thin to make it easier to roll them. So just start with this one here. Fold this over. Now I like to use my meat tenderizer, which has a flat end, but you could use any type of a mallet that you have to be able to pound these out. You want them to be about 1/4 of an inch thick when you're done. All right, that looks good. All right, so now let's go ahead and grab this out, and now we want to assemble our chicken cordon bleu. Now you could change up the what you stuff it with, but typically it's Swiss cheese and ham. And what I do, and I really think this adds a great flavor, is I add a little sauce to the inside that is 2 parts mayonnaise, 1 part Dijon mustard. So here I have 1/4 of a cup of mayonnaise and 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard that I'm just gonna mix up here. And I will add that after I add the ham and cheese. So I have the ham and cheese already measured out for all 4 of these because I'm going to be working with raw chicken and you're gonna be grabbing the ham. So you don't want the ham in your whole container when you put your hands in there. So I have it all already measured out. And then I just lay the ham on, and I put 2 pieces of ham on each piece of chicken. And then I put 1 piece of cheese. Now you could put more cheese if you wanted to, but you want to try to keep it towards the center. And I find that 1 slice is plenty and it's delicious, but you could add 2, just put them right on top of each other. And then about a tablespoon or so of this delicious sauce that goes right there. And you see I left some room on the edges, and that's because as you roll it, you're gonna end up squeezing that out if it goes too far. So, all right, now I'm gonna go ahead and start rolling from this end, and we're just gonna roll the chicken up. Don't worry about the edges here, okay? We're gonna tuck those in and get those secured. And then just roll this up. Sometimes when I get down here, what I like to do is just sort of take it and fold it like that, and then bring this flap over, and that's where I secure with the toothpick. Another thing that I recommend is having your toothpicks out in a little bowl, because you're gonna need to secure with toothpicks, and you don't wanna be going into your whole container with your chicken hands. All right, so now at the ends here, I mean, you don't have to secure them if you don't want to, but I like to try to tuck them up a little bit, push the ham down. The goal is to keep the cheese from melting out, which can happen, and it does happen. If it happens to you, don't worry about it, but you know, we try to prevent it, or at least I do. So I'm just gonna close these up like this, and then put a toothpick right here through the chicken. You can, I usually use about 4 toothpicks per chicken breast, but it depends, so use your judgment. Sometimes I'll go through like a sewing needle and sort of stitch it together almost. And then we have this end here, we'll secure that. I'm gonna use this one and just go right through like that, just to sort of secure it all. Okay, so once you have your pouch, then we are gonna get it into a wet mixture and a dry mixture. So let me go over that real quick. In this container here, which is the wet mixture, I have 2 eggs lightly scrambled with 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard. So 2 eggs, 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard whisked up. Here I have 1/3 of a cup of panko, 1/3 of a cup of breadcrumbs, and then my spice blend is 1 teaspoon of fine grind sea salt, 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, and I'm gonna put that in here just like that. Mix it around. And then we will do a wet dredge and then the dry dredge, and then get it into the air fryer. And we are just about at our 38-second mark. So let me get moving here. I'm gonna add one more just to try to keep this secure. Now don't worry about the sauce that's coming out. That's gonna be just fine. It's not gonna cause any problems. It'll actually help the breading stick on. I did try to just coat the outside of the chicken with the mayonnaise and mustard mixture, but what happened was the breading kept coming off, and so I ended up adding the eggs in, and that fixed the problem. So I recommend doing it that way. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and set the broil back on here and just let it keep going till we're ready. All right, so once you have your chicken breast into the liquid mixture, then you have it into the breading. Kind of just take the breading mixture up and put it over top. Let it sit in here for a minute. What I'll do is I'll roll this all around, and I will just let it sit right in this breading mixture to really get it well coated and set on before I put it in the air fryer. Otherwise, I've found that it just will start to fall off. So I really like kind of press it in, let it sit, and keep doing that until I know I have a good coverage of this breadcrumb and panko mixture. We're gonna switch from broil to air crisp. The temperature that I like is 375 for this. The time, 20 minutes is fine. It takes somewhere between 18 and 20 minutes to cook the chicken breast. I usually just let it go the whole 20, and it's been perfectly cooked each and every time. All right, let's go ahead and open up the lid. You wanna spritz your basket or your cooking surface with some type of oil. This is avocado oil. You could use whatever you like. And then I'm gonna place the chicken cordon bleu right here. And I'm gonna spritz the outside pretty well, probably with about a teaspoon or so of the avocado oil. And go ahead and close it down, let that one start. Now, I'm not sure if I can fit all 4 of these in the basket. I usually just make 2 at a time, but I wanted the recipe to be for 4 in case you wanted to use a different air fryer, like the XL grill. You could do all 4 in pretty easily. And your timings and stuff would be the same if you had the grill and air fryer, the Ninja Foodi grill air fryer. All right, so let's get this coated with the egg mixture and then into the breadcrumbs. We'll add this one in. Then we'll determine if we can do the other two or if we wanted to freeze those for later. So we could get them breaded and then frozen for a second dinner. So we could do that as well. All right, so I definitely was able to put the 2 in, which I know because that's how I do it. I could get a third one in, but because there's 2 of us here, what I'm gonna do is freeze the other 2. So instead of cooking 3 and then freezing 1, I'm gonna freeze these 2. So what I have here is a parchment lined tray. And because I'm going to freeze them, what I wanna do is put them on a tray individually. So I don't wanna throw them in a bag right now. I want them to freeze as they are right now. There's a couple of things that you could do. You can put them in the refrigerator for about an hour and then pull the toothpicks out and then freeze them on the tray. That would work. But I'm gonna go straight to the freezer. So I'm gonna go ahead and just carefully take my toothpicks out. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I don't wanna, when they're frozen, you're not gonna have the issue. The meat is going to kind of hold together better when they're frozen, so you don't really need to worry about this, but you do want to make sure that everything is sort of tucked in and covered with the breadcrumbs. And then put them right on my parchment and then freeze them until they are completely frozen, and then I will put them in a bag. Now, I have not frozen them before, so I don't know from frozen right now exactly what the timing would be, but I would probably start it at somewhere around 325, 350, because you're gonna have to go longer and you don't want your breading to burn. So that's what I would do. All right, that looks good. So I'll get those in the freezer. Meanwhile, we will wait the 13 minutes for our chicken cordon bleu to be done. Then I will slice it and taste it for you. Okay, so our 20 minutes is up now, and I just usually let it go the whole 20, but you could certainly look at it and take it out at 18. The one thing about this recipe is that you don't need to flip it. So, and I encourage you not to. I found that when I tried to flip halfway through, almost every time some of the breading came off. So I just leave it in there just like it is. And then go ahead and bring it out. You can see I've got a little bit of leaking there. That's pretty normal. It happens. Got a little bit there too, but no big deal. Now I will let them sit and rest for about 5 minutes or so, clean up the pot, and then I'll get the toothpicks out and we will get to tasting them. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull these toothpicks out. I definitely recommend you do that before you're serving it because it's easy to cut into one and not realize it. Okay, there we go. I think there might be another one in there. There it is. Perfect. All right, so now let's cut it open and see what it looks like in the center. I picked the one that had more of the cheese loss so we could see what the center looks like here. Oh, still looks so good. That is absolutely perfect. Oh my gosh, so excited. All right, let's go ahead and give it a taste. That's the most important thing. I'm gonna taste for the breading. I mean, everything should be really flavorful. The chicken should be moist. Obviously, everything should be hot in the center. All right, here we go. It's amazing. I really encourage you to try that mayonnaise and mustard sauce for the center. It just adds a special touch and it's so incredibly delicious. All right, super easy to make. make ahead. Like you could even make them and cook them and then freeze them, which is probably what I'm gonna do with that one. Or you can bread them and freeze them like I did before. And I will definitely have the information in my written post on how to reheat them once I serve them again from the freezer. I'll write down the times and temperatures that I use to reheat them from frozen. And this is a great make ahead meal for the weekday. And remember, you can stuff it with whatever you want. So if you're not a ham and Swiss cheese person, you could switch up the cheese for something else you like, or omit the meat and just stuff it with cheese, whatever you want to do. As always, make it yours, make it delicious, and keep it real.